right, that takes us on to item 5 now. Paul and Hank will remain in the catbird seat, and this is City of Phoenix, Canada Foreign Direct Investment Collaborative Model.
Wonderful. Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee, we're here today to talk to you about Canada. We've had lots of conversation about international economic development across actually probably the last 2 years or more. And in fact, the council has adopted us focusing on Mexico and Canada, the continent, UK, and Asia as targets. We've invested a lot of energy in discussions and advancing initiatives related to Mexico. We're starting that process with Canada, and we're here today to provide you an outline of where we're heading, and we're hoping to finalize some work across the summer to come back with a final policy in the fall. So Hank is prepared to be brief and move you right along.
Very brief. Good morning again, Chairman Gates and committee members. If I could take a moment and point out Glenn Williamson in the audience. He is the founder of the Canada-Arizona Business Council. In addition to that, he's also the honorary consul for Canada here in the state of Arizona. And for those of you who may recall, he was also awarded the Global Citizen Award by Mayor Stanton at the International Gala in April. As Paul Blue indicated, we're here for basically information, just to kind of seek your input and suggestions on how we take this collaborative model as it relates to Canada. Foreign direct, the international components of international economic development are essentially foreign trade, as we heard about, as well as foreign direct investment. To try and paint a picture for why international matters, this couldn't be any more succinct. 95% of the world's population lives somewhere else, and 80% of that wealth resides somewhere else. And if we want to find out where that source of funding and where that growth will come, it's going to come from somewhere outside the United States. To give you an idea of why foreign direct investment in the United States is either measured or felt, it creates jobs, global connectivity, and there's a relevance factor that comes from it. It employs almost 6 million people directly in the United States. 18% of all U.S. exports are produced by foreign companies in the United States, so not even American companies. 50% of all manufacturing jobs are associated with divisions of foreign enterprises, and on average, these foreign companies that are based in the United States pay 30% higher wages. To try to drill down to make this relevant and why we're going to try and chase Canada in more of a concise way, the first number there, $10 billion, that represents the total number of dollars in the history of recorded time that foreign money has flowed here. We have attracted a total of $10 billion from foreign companies in our history as a state. That relates to about 73,000 jobs and roughly 200 plus companies and about 4% of GDP. The highlighted item in yellow is important. For the last 5 years, most of the foreign direct investment that has flowed into the state and into the city of Phoenix has come from Canada. Well, let me kind of frame when we say a lot has come from Canada. Let's put it into perspective. Total foreign investment by Canada in the world is just short of $750 billion. Total Canadian investment in the United States is now moved up to well over $300 billion, and Arizona as a state has gotten 2. So that number really trickles down. The approach that we've had in the past has simply been rather agnostic. If we get it, great. Where do we get it from? Wherever we seem to get it from. It was passive. We weren't out there trying to get at it aggressively. Reactive in a way. If we found it, we'd respond. And we relied a great deal on the state. You tell us what's coming and we'll kind of latch on to you and drive it home. And the tactic itself was something that the city drove on its own. It wasn't leveraging other resources. New approach, how do we have certain things that we can go sell? Do we have projects, opportunities that the Canadians should be investing in? Make it strategic, make it proactive, get out in the market, very much what I think Barry was saying, out there and pushing it. City-driven initiatives, now how do we make them ours and not just be recipients of it? And then I think the more important word that we've used in this presentation is collaborative. How do we leverage those partners that are here to help us? To give you a bit of background, the Canadian consulate had a consulate here for 5 years, 2007 to 2012. They closed it. They were a resource. It's gone away. The FDI that we've gotten has kind of just happened. It's serendipitous in a way. And without a real strategy to increase that share, we're missing a lot of opportunities, And again, from a collaboration point of view, we'd like to introduce a new concept for you too. We've already stated this, we'll move on. Collaboration, again, through a strategic partner. Canada, as we know it right now, has capital, technology, experience. You can take a look at the dollars. They know how to invest those dollars. And they've got ideas. You could tell it again by where they've gone and where they've invested that money. And they've got the capacity to do it. Arizona and the city of Phoenix, we have relevant opportunities. We've got real estate. We've been very Canada friendly. What we've lacked is this centerpiece, is something to bring it all together. And what we've itemized here is a strategic partner along the lines of the Canada-Arizona Business Council, who has connections to Canada, has access to that money, access to that flow, and secondarily, relationships that can be lent and brought our way. And this is kind of an interesting drawing that we wanted to kind of sum it up. How do we connect the dots? And how do we leverage a partner that can do that? What we'd like to suggest is to allow us to explore more potential partnerships, essentially with the CABC over the summer, identify mutual goals where this is a win-win, so that we both benefit from doing this, identify a very strategic work plan to bring back to you, and bring that back to subcommittee in the fall for consideration. Any questions?
All right. Questions, comments from my colleagues? All right. Councilor Nowakowski.
You know, one of the things I noticed that it was real estate was the key investment from Canadians. Is there other businesses or companies here in the city of Phoenix that you know off the top of your head?
Absolutely. We've had two recent ones. LeClaire is a food company, roughly $100 million investment, cookie manufacturing. And then we have JV Driver, which is on the west side again, which is a very large, essentially assembly company, which, believe it or not, was producing pipe and drilling equipment to be used in the oil sands, but they found it was too expensive to make in Canada, that they brought it here, making it here and then shipping it back up to Canada for it to be used there. And then I think you can point to a company by the name of Medicis that was bought by a large Canadian firm for several $1 billion. So it runs this full spectrum of investment potential.
I think it's a great idea. I think what we've done with the country of Mexico, I mean, we can do with Canada easy. So I think we should go on with it.
Thank you, Councilor. That's what I wanted to kind of follow up on. Is does this sort of what you're talking about? Would this lead to us pulling resources off of the emphasis that we've had on Mexico? Can you kind of speak to that?
Councilman Gates, I think the short answer is no. This is merely us activating and really why we want to work with private sector partners, because quite frankly, we have a lot of opportunity, particularly on the business retention side, but also in the community development side. In each of your districts, there are projects, locations, facilities where you've asked, is there things that we could do to help support growing the community? And the answer is it often depends on capital. And so our goal is to utilize the private sector through the CABC to help us start to be able to, when we go out and do business attraction calls, we add in Canada, when we go with GPEC or others, we add another piece to that puzzle, and that is the opportunity to provide direct examples of foreign direct investment opportunities, and we add it to what we already do. We're already out seeing or being in the forums where these folks are located. We have not applied the foreign direct investment strategy, and that is what staff's proposing to do.
Councilor Nowakowski.
You know, one of the things that's been very successful in Mexico is our Sister Cities program, the relationship that we already established over the years, seeing that you have the honorary consulate here, and that relationship with that office also is key. I mean, working with the Mexican consulate's office and the opportunities and doors that he opens is great. So I'd really like to see this plan or this partnership include all those different entities and kind of use what we did in Mexico kind of as a guiding point for this type of a project also.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Other comments or questions? I'm excited about this opportunity. Look forward to you taking a look and delving into this more over the summer. I want to thank Mr. Williamson and really thank all of the Canadians who have invested a lot of money. I can tell you just from one industry I know a little bit about, over the past few years, there were a few winters when it was only the Canadians who were buying golf clubs at demo days on golf courses in the Phoenix area. So that investment was great, but I think it was just the tip of the iceberg. And I'm very, very pleased to see your office focusing on this, and look forward to further recommendation in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next item is item 6, excess city-owned property update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you guys know, as this committee and the council members know, disposal of surplus or underused or unused city property is a high priority that the council has given to me. And so you're going to see regularly, monthly, lists of properties that have come through the process with our folks. So Chief Financial Officer Neil Young, Real Estate Administrator Mary Vivian Withrow, and Jamie Spear are here to tell you about the next group. I guess tranche is the right financial word, of properties that we're bringing forward. Just a reminder that we are using one-time resources for one-time expenses. So any general fund sales we would program towards one-time things like technology or heavy equipment, but we also have some other properties here that won't be general fund, and I'll turn it over to Neil to explain.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, members of the committee. We just have a very brief update today. As Ed suggested, there are a number of additional properties that we are seeking your recommendation to City Council for us to proceed with the sales. In addition, we have some good news. We were able to close the property out on Greenway Road, and we $1.6 million. And so that's very good. With that, I just want to ask Mary to just go through the rest of the slides and the map.
Sure. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Chairman and members of the subcommittee. As Neil noted, we did close last week on Wednesday on the 2222 West Greenway property. Up on the screen are the other properties that you have previously approved that are still out there and being actively marketed by Jones Lang LaSalle. This is the list of new properties identified. I think at the last subcommittee it was discussed that there were several remnant properties that we were looking at. These are those remnants that we are now bringing forward and seeking your authorization to proceed to sell. So we would have Jones Lang LaSalle, pending council approval, begin marketing these actively and working to sell them. There are maps following, which we can kind of run through, that just shows you these are obviously a range of properties, most of them relatively small, from just over 3,000 square feet to the 5.56 acre property that's next to the Tres Rios levee. But all of them are classified as remnants and obviously are not high dollar properties or things that we anticipate solving the budget problem overnight, but certainly are an active part of our cleanup work and getting everything out there and in order. So we would just, again, like your recommendation to proceed to council and get this authorization, with the caveat that obviously original funding sources have to be researched before any proceeds can be allocated beyond those original funding sources.
Questions or comments?
I just have one other comment. We continue to work on our fixed asset listing. Mary and her team have, I think, will have that in excess of 90% complete by the end of this month. We intend on providing all council members an electronic copy of that. It'll have some features that will allow you to look at the book, map, and parcel at the assessor's website. In addition, you can drill right into a map from the assessor's website, so you can look at the property from overhead. And then this summer, we plan on working with departments to continue to identify any excess properties that they might have, and we'll be working with Jones Lang LaSalle to complete that work.
So just so I understand that, so we will have this list that we've been talking about this
Correct.
summer.
Correct, by the end of this month.
Okay, super. Questions or comments? Councilor Nowakowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, one of the things I was thinking about also is not just vacant property, but property that we own with parking garages, that there might be opportunities to have retail and also apartments built on the side, where if we have that offset from the streets, where individuals can actually start to build apartment complexes around our parking garages and stuff. I think this is a new trend that's going on within a lot of big cities, and we should start looking into it also, seeing if there's actually individuals that would like to purchase, or if there's a way for us to get some type of revenues from that. And with that.
And if I could just interject, Councilman, that's an excellent idea and something that's, the mixed-use concept has been out there for a long time, and I agree with you. There are many new trends in that regard. The one thing we have to be extraordinarily cautious about is the private activity, because most of our parking facilities are financed through bond issues, and there are, in the covenants, private activity restrictions that would preclude a large percentage of that activity being private rather than public if we were to retain ownership. So we have to be cognizant of that.
That could impact the tax exempt status of the bonds.
All right, if there's an opportunity,
Absolutely.
let's take advantage, yeah. Thank you.
Is there, just a question on that, is there any way we can separate out those bonds and, you know, accelerate paying them off to address that issue, or is that not possible?
Mr. Chairman, I'd have to research that.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times we refinance bonds as they become callable, particularly in today's marketplace with interest rates as low as they are. So we'd have to really thoroughly examine that, and I think there would be a certain amount of work would be required when we start to identify the property, researching its funding sources, and then the tax exempt status. But it's something we can look into.
Yeah, I just think if there are outstanding opportunities out there like Councilman Nowakowski has raised, I'd hate to have that issue just, you know, be the end of the discussion. So,
Right.
thank you.
I agree with you, Chairman. I like to see if there's an opportunity, if we own the sidewalk without any of the bond situation, that we can build on the outskirts of the building and actually rent a parking space or whatever for the attendants of the apartments or whatever we decide to have with that.
Thank you. Other comments, questions? All right, otherwise, they have asked for action here. Would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass it on to a recommendation to approve this item to go on to the council.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Again, thank you for your hard work on this. We appreciate it. Item 7, open data policy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We, as part of the charge of your committee, we have some technology items, and this is one that's a policy, a direction. I believe we have some refinements to the policy that's in the packet that we would propose to you, but it really is a way for us to make information available for innovators out there to use what data we might have to better the ability of our residents to access it. And with that, I'll ask our Chief Information Officer, Debbie Cotton, to talk us through it.
Thank you, Mr. Zucker. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee. We're here today to seek your approval and recommendation of staff's proposed open data policy. In the age of digital government, the public really expects us to have data that's free, open. It really is a best practice as we look to be more transparent as a government entity. We'd like to thank you for your guidance and input as we have worked diligently to put this policy together. We have just a few slides to go with you, and that at the end of our presentation, we hope to secure your approval. And with that, I'll turn the presentation over to Ralph Sweeney.
Thank you, Ms. Cotton. Good morning, Chairman, members of the subcommittee. You may recall that we've been here a couple of times to talk about open data and what are those concepts. And really, in its simplest form, it's the practice of making that data available to the community in a format that they would like and available at a time that they would need it. The city has done well relative to transparency, so in regards to some awards that we've won and the ability of the data that's available on phoenix.gov, but we know we can do better with open data, and that's what this policy and our action steps beyond that will address. What we've done in development of the open data policy, we leveraged the lessons learned and the good practices from other jurisdictions, as well as we used industry standards and using the Sunlight Foundation as a framework for building our policy. And that foundation is really the major tenets that they have is to continue the openness of government and the transparency of government. So when the staff put together the open data policy for review, included in your packet, and we had some minor adjustments to that which are available for you today. And really the highlights of the policy deals with the open by default tenant, meaning let's start that as our starting point. Data should be available unless there's a reason not to be, such as personally identifiable, if it's confidential or restricted in nature, but let's have that as a starting point. The policy also addresses the strategies that will go forth in setting our policies and procedures under the city manager's guidance on the review of those data sets and making those data sets available for the community. The policy also addresses one of the fun things about an open data policy, if you will, which is engaging the community in finding innovative uses of the data and to help drive economic development. So our policy does address the need to engage the community in events to utilize our data to find those innovative solutions. Part of the strategy moving forward is over the next 3 months, we're looking at about working with the departments to put out there about 25 data sets available to the community within the 6 to 9 month period of time, engaging the community in a greater fashion and moving forward with enhancing our web portal capabilities for that data and its use by the community, and then further expand our data sets as we move forward with our open data policy. So with that, Mr. Chair and members of the subcommittee, we're looking for acceptance of staff's recommendation of the open data policy that is currently available for you today. And if your approval of that, we will take it forward to full council consideration on July 2nd.
Okay,
Thank you. Well, we are happy to answer any questions.
thank you. Questions or comments from my colleagues? Thank you for making those changes to the proposed policy. I think that really does a nice job of addressing the issues that are concerned, and it's two-part. It's transparency, but then it's also kind of unlocking the innovative talents of folks who can utilize this open data, web developer, app developers, and other uses. So thank you for doing this, and with that, I would entertain a motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. 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 All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And this takes us to item 8. And Ms. Cotton, you'll stay up there. This is citywide email and calendar system, an issue of some interest
Yes.
for those of us who work here at the City of Phoenix.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee. We appreciate the opportunity to present staff's recommendation on the selection of an email and calendaring platform for our organization. I would like to make note that our business partners are here. We have Microsoft and their representative, the gentleman from Tri-Advocates. They're available to answer any questions that you might have. We brought this item before you last month and you requested that we come back. So here we are. We'd just like to go through just a few slides with you quickly, and then we hope to secure your support to move this forward to full council. I'll turn it over to Mr. McGreeny.
Thank you. I believe we're well aware of the issues, so I'll be really brief here. We have 2 email systems. They're costly, inefficient. They have no seamless integration between them, and they impact negatively our ability to do business, particularly around e-discovery for litigation holds and for public records requests. And we are all painfully aware of our list server issues also. We are recommending a citywide standard, and when we assess the email systems out there that are available in the market, we consider departmental as well as citywide business requirements, particularly the Criminal Justice Information Services Security Policy that governs the use and transport and access to criminal justice data in police, in the prosecutor's office, and in courts. We talked with other jurisdictions and the private sector. We noted that 8 of the 10 largest U.S. cities utilize Microsoft. And we looked at current city standards for productivity applications and collaboration and wanted to ensure that we leverage our extensive investments in those Microsoft technologies with this standard. ITS is recommending a citywide standard of Microsoft for our email and calendaring. Microsoft meets all city departmental business requirements, and they're the only cloud provider that meets Criminal Justice Information Services security policy. They'll provide a seamless integration with police's on-premise Microsoft system until we can migrate that system to the cloud. And they will also provide centralized e-discovery and litigation holds for public records requests, both when we are still on-prem with police and when we move it to the cloud. It also allows us to have a single suite of Microsoft products, which will remain current for both our email, calendaring, productivity, and collaboration applications. Funding is in the FY 14-15 budget, and we anticipate approximately 18 months for full migration. Today, we're requesting that this subcommittee recommend to City Council approval to consolidate our city's 2 email systems into a single email system based on an enterprise standard of Microsoft. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Nowakowski. Oh, you know what? Actually, we do have one card from the public. Maybe we can take that first, and then we'll have council comments. Darren Carlson, in favor? Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and subcommittee members. My name is Darren Carlson. I'm with.
You might want to walk a little closer to the microphone there.
Sorry, start that
Thank
again.
you.
Good morning. My name is Darren Carlson. I'm with Microsoft, along with some of my Microsoft colleagues. We're here to lend support for the proposal and give you a few data points that may be interesting as you think about this. First of all, I wanted to let you know that what is being proposed is not new to other peer organizations in the U.S. government. Just as an example, if we start in the West and think about the cities sort of maybe on the top coming down, this is very similar to what has happened already with the City of Seattle, City of Portland, City of San Francisco, City of Oakland, City of San Jose, City of Long Beach, City of San Diego, City of Anaheim. So we're really seeing a wave of this, and that's just speaking of the cities. Another data point just to let you know that this is the momentum that is behind doing this, as we spoke about, by having a common platform that allows you to go across both your public safety and the rest of your organization. The County of Los Angeles actually announced via press release this morning that they are moving all 100,000 of their users, that's the largest county in the United States, including 20,000 law enforcement, to the platform in a very similar way. That puts us so from a just as an example, in the state of California, there's about 325,000 users on the government users on the platform now, or in the process of being migrated to the platform. While there's many factors that come into the decision, CJIS, as it's been pointed out, has definitely been a main factor in Microsoft's commitment to CJIS compliance and the signing of the FBI CJIS security addendum. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions from my colleagues?
Just a comment, it's about time.
Yes, Councilman Bounce, do you have any questions for Darren?
No, thank you so much, sir.
I had a quick question for him, and then maybe we can, so I understand all these other cities that have made the move. Are they all in a cloud-based environment?
Excuse me. Most of those are, as the ones I went down and listed, and most of them are either fully migrated or in the process of migrating. There's still some where the public safety is, for example, I believe City of San Diego. I believe it's their intention for their public safety to go to the cloud. They have not. San Francisco's in the process of migrating their public safety. San Jose migrated theirs. Oakland's in the process. So yes, at the end, they're predominantly, if not almost 100%, cloud-based.
And obviously, we don't need to belabor the fact that we have the prehistoric Lotus Notes system that we're using, but in moving forward, are we just kind of, catching up a little ways from Lotus Notes, or is this a quantum leap to what you're talking about? And if so, what specifically, what things would the users see that would make us all more, efficient and improve that experience of using technology here at the city?
Sure. Well, I'm not a Lotus expert to be able to compare.
Yeah, that's not fair.
The two.
You just comment on your product.
But I think the collaboration tools that are available in the Office 365 suite that is currently being proposed are really going to be a quantum leap from where you're at today, and the productivity that is going to allow. As far as from a compliance standpoint, we often find, and we've worked with a lot of organizations that, in addition to just saying this is compliant, we overall improve their compliance posture by the platform, which is important as well as just checking a box. The security is improved. The disaster recovery and the backup. LA County right now is claiming very significant, and this is what we see across, but in their press release and the quotes, and I'm happy to point you in the right direction to see what is quoted by some of their elected officials, is really impressive of what they have in their business case of the savings that they anticipate being able to realize from this move.
Okay, well, you just said the magic words, so thank you. That's great, and appreciate you being here. If there aren't any other questions of Mr. Carlson, I think, actually, Councilman Valenzuela, you had, I cut you off.
Yeah,
earlier.
no questions for Mr. Carlson.
Yeah,
I have a question.
okay, oh, perfect, yeah, go ahead.
One of the concerns that we had was the safety when it comes to public safety, police officers, firefighters, and that information that you get using those computers in the police cars and all that. How secure would a cloud system, in your opinion,
Yeah,
be?
I believe it would be extremely secure, and for us to meet the CJIS compliance, which is the Criminal Justice Information Service, the FBI compliance that we have to sign and allow for. It puts what we continually hear, and again to the earlier comment, not only are we compliant, we are now in a much better compliance, security and compliance position overall of what that really means to our data. So we feel that it's you're going to be much more in a much better place. I think that's demonstrated by the wave of public safety that is moving to us, and they have a very critical eye. But I think right now, again, just to go back to the state of California, where we're doing a lot of work right now, I believe there's 15 large law enforcements that are in the process of either migrated or moving, and that equates to over 40,000 users. So we feel very good about it and are very excited to be able to partner with the city of Phoenix in this solution.
Thank you, great question, Councilman Nowakowski. Councilman Valenzuela.
I was going to place a motion.
Perfect, please
Yeah,
do.
I want to, on behalf of more than 14,000 city employees, all these happy faces around, I'd like to move for approval.
I'll second that.
All right.
You guys all love Lotus. You're going to miss it.
Yeah. Here, this is the council's expert on technology, of course, Vice Mayor. Just kidding, just kidding. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, or any no? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hear the cheers throughout the building right now. All right, item number 9, which is the update on Phoenix.gov refresh project.
This is where now, on behalf of the 9 members of the city council, you will thank these guys for what they're doing, right?
Absolutely.
Ms. Macarone.
Soon we'll find out.
Good morning, Chairman Gates and members of the subcommittee. We're very pleased today to be before you to provide you an update on the new Phoenix.gov website. It launches June 30, so just a couple weeks from now. And we know that this is a really valuable, important communication tool for the city. You all know that also. The site receives about 1.5 million views a month. So we have 1.5 million people coming to the site to visit Phoenix.gov each month. Those are pretty impressive numbers. We have not updated the site with new design or new functionality for about 5 years. We appreciate you, Councilman Gates, and the council for encouraging us to do that and for providing us the funds to do that. And we're also very pleased that we came in $20,000 under budget with the design funds. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our project manager and champion, Al Maythaler. He has been leading us through the Phoenix.gov redesign project, and he will walk through a couple of quick slides, and then we'll show you the new design.
Thank you. So the Phoenix Refresh project, the main mission of the project is to enable our Phoenix website to be viewed from the beautiful mobile devices. What you will find in many major cities is that they have a mobile website, or a mobile application. We just checked this morning, and I'm very happy to let you know that Boston, San Antonio, LA, New York City, San Diego, Seattle, Washington, San Francisco, Dallas, and Houston do not have a web responsive design. So it seems that we're one of the first ones to implement web responsiveness. We started the project in 2013. We're about ready to deploy. We're going to be going live on June 30th. That just marks the 19th anniversary when the city had its first website. So we're almost there. We use about 406 people were involved in the project at certain level, from project management to project sponsors, 15 active team members that have been working a lot on this project. And the other people are people that in some form or shape, they provide content to the website or approve content. We also use 3 companies to help us on design, migration, and SharePoint implementation. I would like to read these benefits on the new website that we have. Web responsiveness, we'll really talk about that, allow us to see it from any mobile devices. Content is going to be organized by usage, not by the organizational structure of the city. We have quick links. We're driving the website by statistics. The search engine has been very well optimized, so we can get real and good results. The branding is similar on all departments, so even though departments will have their identity, it seems that we'll belong to the same city now. We're using social media integration. You have heard the importance of social media. From our website now, we're going to be able to receive feeds from social media, Twitter, Facebook, of that kind of application. We are implementing content approval and expiration of content, so hopefully we get rid of some old content without anybody deleting the content. We have streamlined the process, so the content is added on the website and just approved directly in it. We have also took this opportunity to do citywide solutions, like one simple calendar of events, one simple news, one simple place to put videos, which bring us to cloud solutions. We're also using cloud solutions to reduce the amount of storage that we use in our servers and take advantage of free things like YouTube. We also have some risks that we hope to tackle after we go live. We still have a lot of pages. Because of the amount of pages that we have, it is possible that we miss 1 or 2 pages or links during the migration process. We expect a little bit of maybe resistance to change. People is used to do business in a certain way, so we hope that it doesn't take them too long to find where the content is located. Some departments have tried to keep their identity. We have been able to standardize some of them, so we have dealt with that. And another risk is the website uses third-party applications. That was not part of the scope of the project, so we did not touch what the vendor is providing. We have to use what they have provided. Those pages may not be responsive, so they may look exactly as we have them right now. That is going to be the look of the new website. I'm going to put a picture next to it so you can compare the difference of one with another one. You can also go to your mobile devices and everything will shrink and will fit on the size of the device that we're using. There's a little bit of a bigger view. And we can change all these areas. When you come on June the 30th, you're going to be able to start navigating and see the content that we have available.
So that's our overview. We heard from you. We heard from internal customers, external customers. Search, very important area, so we made that very prominent. It's right at the top. And those 5 buttons that are up at the top also are new. That's making it easy for people to report it, map it, pay it, request a city service, or find public records. So those are some new features on the site that just put a lot of city information into one location so that people don't have to search a lot for it. We also heard from you, Councilman Nowakowski, about the this week's meetings. That's a new feature that we created because residents had trouble finding agendas to the meetings that were happening this very week, so that will be updated frequently. And the areas on the left and the right will be updated frequently as well. The living in Phoenix, those, according to our analytics, those are the most frequently visited areas. That's why those areas stand out as far as the mayor and council, city management, paying your city services bill, trash and recycling, police, fire, jobs, and parks. Those will all be there when someone visits .phoenix.gov, and they will change as our analytics change. That concludes our presentation. Any questions or Comments?
Questions, comments from my colleagues? Yeah, this looks great, and our viewers at home can hopefully see what an improvement this is going to be. Much more user friendly. I think the frustrations have been well chronicled, but that's a very interesting fact that 19 years ago, so 20 years ago, the city of Phoenix did not have a website.
No. Wow.
And that's pretty remarkable. That just speaks to the change that has occurred, and this is going to be fantastic. And particularly, I think what is important is the mobile applicability moving forward. It is, having tried to look at the city website on my phone, it's very hard to do. Now it's going to be easy. It's going to be what people have become accustomed to with a lot of the private websites out there, websites where people purchase products and things like that. So this is a quantum leap, and I'm just excited to see how the community reacts to it. And to the extent that people have concerns with the new website, I would encourage them. I think they could contact all of our offices, all the council members in the mayor's office, and then we can certainly get those comments on to you. We always know when you have a changeover, there are some hiccups, but this is going to be exciting. So thanks to everybody for your hard work on this project.
Thank you.
That takes us now to item number 9, and I want to thank the city manager for putting this together. Right now,
Jim's still in here.
okay, great. We unfortunately, okay, perfect. Just apologize. Not a problem. So we're moving forward now here with the subcommittee agenda action item summary, and this is something that I had asked for. Over the years that this subcommittee has been in existence, we've had a lot of great ideas that have come to the subcommittee, and I just want to make sure that we are on top of this with staff and with the members of the council to make sure that as these ideas come to us, we're either acting on them, or if we're not acting on them, we have a reason why we're not, why we don't think that this is a good addition to the city. And I think that this is particularly important that we put this together because of the core analysis that's going to be done over the summer. There'll probably be additional items, and we always have folks from the community who have additional ideas, and additional ideas that come from our city employees as to how we can become more efficient. So I would ask my colleagues, if this is a significant group of items here, a listing of items, if you have any questions on them or comments as you review this. But I'd like this to become a monthly item as when we meet to again review those items that have come before the subcommittee, and then giving us an update as to either what action has been taken on it, or again, if action hasn't been taken on it, why it hasn't. So any questions? Otherwise, this is just something that my colleagues and our viewers out there should be looking forward to receiving in the packet. Yes, Councilor Nowakowski.
Mr. Chair, I just want to thank you. This is a great check and balance for us as subcommittee members to actually see where, once we approve something, if it actually is implemented or not implemented, or where it's going. So thank you for creating this so we can actually have a benchmark where we can actually go back and ask questions if we need to.
Perfect. Thank you.
My office will only accept this list if it's typed and sent to us in Lotus Notes.
Yes. See, the good thing is Vice Mayor Waring hasn't turned his microphone on, so no one can hear what he's saying. Next item. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm
Pagers
just
what?
kidding. I'm just kidding. That's it. Okay.
I think his pager's going off.
That's the thing, when you don't turn your microphone on, you can't defend yourself. So item 11, City Manager's Performance Measure Dashboard, FY 2014 update. Thank you. Again, I'm very pleased about this dashboard that's been available. I think Councilor Nowakowski has been referencing this a lot recently, that we on the council want to be able to, at a quick glance, know how things are going, and if there are red flags that we need to be aware of those, and so we can work with our colleagues and staff on this. thank you for putting this together. I believe this dashboard, by the way, is going to be a little more prominent, if I'm not mistaken, on the Phoenix.gov refresh. So that's something that our residents can look at as well. Any questions or comments on this item? Okay, perfect. Then that takes us to the call to the public. Do we have any call to the public? Okay, we do not. And then future agenda items. The future agenda items are being provided to the colleagues, to my colleagues right now. So there's several future agenda items here, but are there any other future agenda items that you all would like to see added?
Mr. Chair, while you're looking, so we have for September as a review of the core program, which will be going on over the summer with departments, so we'll be able to give an update there. Further discussion of how we're funding our technology. As I mentioned here, bringing back the Canadian strategy. There's been a request about energy bill tracking and auditing on the sustainability side. And then the fifth one is also part of the commitment we made during the budget process, is to review the cost recovery fee methodology, which is a real bureaucratic sounding way of saying, what are we charging, how much are we charging, for what purpose, and are we charging enough or too little? And the city auditor will have a report for us on that in the fall.
Super. All right, well, looks like we've got a pretty significant agenda. We had a big agenda today, and we'll have another good-sized one in September. Councilor Nowakowski.
You know, I had some individuals actually meet with me to talk about the golf courses. I know it's our vice mayor's #1 issue.
Do I have to turn the microphone on? Do you really want that, Michael?
No, we want to go to lunch.
Yeah.
But they came up with some creative ways of some of our golf courses that we have, and I like to actually have them come in and maybe present it to us. I'm not sure if my colleagues have seen that presentation or have talked to those individuals, but I think there's some creative ways where we can actually be profitable in our golf course and return some revenues back into the in the golf funds that we have.
Are you,
Vice Mayor.
are you talking, Michael, about the people who presented at Parks, or you're talking about the other group?
The other group.
That talked about, okay, I've met with them, so I'm certainly willing to listen more. They were upstairs today, actually, I saw them, but I met with them a couple months ago.
Great. I think you know, some of these, this item in particular with golf, certainly will probably go through the Parks Subcommittee, but I think it should. I think it'd be great to have a presentation here as well, as we continue to look at how we can become more efficient. I know something that Councilman Valenzuela has been working on is that, you know, potential partnership and an RFP for Maryvale golf course, but then with regard to the other courses too, I think that makes sense to be added to a future agenda. So thank you. Okay, unless there's anything else, we are adjourned just before noon.